Hello students, we will continue with the channel section we discussed in the last class, and begin to explain how we can understand it intuitively. Have you heard? A channel refers to the physical or logical path for transmitting signals within a certain range. It can be understood as a specific frequency range. Through this range, signals can be transmitted. In wireless communication, the choice of channel directly affects the quality and bandwidth of signal transmission. A channel is a space, meaning it is used for communication within a specific physical or logical environment. For example, the Wi-Fi channel at home and the Wi-Fi channel at the company are independent channels. They are located in different environments and ranges, so channels in different spaces definitely do not interfere with each other. Interference in wireless networks usually bases channel selection on frequency. For instance, in the 2.4 GHz frequency band, each channel occupies a certain bandwidth. A bandwidth of 20 MHz refers to the size of the bandwidth that each channel occupies in that frequency band. For the 2.4 GHz frequency band, the common channel bandwidths are 20 MHz or 40 MHz. Each channel represents a specific frequency range. Devices transmit data through these frequency ranges. In summary, a channel is essentially a frequency range for data transmission. Devices communicate within these ranges using wireless signals. Within the same frequency band, different channels are independent of each other and can conduct parallel transmissions. Let's continue to look at the channels in the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequency bands. In the 2.4 GHz frequency band, there are a total of 14 channels. Generally, only channels 1 to 13 are used. Among these 14 channels, the frequency interval between channels is typically 5 MHz. Specifically, for example, the frequency of channel 1 is 2.412 GHz, channel 2 is 2.417 GHz, and channel 3 is 2.422 GHz. Finally, channel 14 is at 2.472 GHz, which is special. In Japan, its frequency is 2.484 GHz, and compared to other channels, it has the largest interval of 12 MHz. And it is only available in Japan. It should be noted that the 2.4 GHz band has channel overlap issues. Although there are up to 14 channels, due to the overlap between channels, only non-overlapping channels can be used, which are usually channel 1, channels 4 to 6, channel 11, channel 13. These channels. As for alphabet, the channel distribution in this band is very complex and involves different usage restrictions, such as license-exempt bands. The 5 GHz band is divided into multiple subbands, some of which can be used freely, while others are restricted. In most countries internationally, the 5 GHz band is divided into 3 main sections. The first section is 1. Channels 36 to 48, suitable for low power communication, typically used for Wi-Fi 5. Wi-Fi 6. The second section 2. Channels are 52 to 64. But in China, channels 100 to 144 are not allowed for use. The third section. 3 channels, 149 to 165. These channel segments can be used for indoor and outdoor communication in China and other regional countries. It is important to note, channels 100 to 144 are prohibited in China because they may interfere with military radar systems. Channels 36 to 64 are only allowed for indoor use because their signal strength may interfere with aircraft and similar equipment. Outdoor use may interfere with the safety of low-altitude flight of aircraft. Channels 149 to 165 can be used both indoors and outdoors, suitable for a wider range of applications. That is 2.4 GHz. They have relatively fewer channels, usually only 14 channels. In China, or generally in other regions, there are only 13. Among them, some are overlapping. There are only 4 non-overlapping channels available. 1, 6, 11, and 13. These channels have overlapping issues, which limit the concurrent performance of wireless networks. The 5 GHz band has a rich and abundant number of channels. There are usually more channels available, which allows the 5 GHz band to provide higher bandwidth and less interference, especially in high-density Wi-Fi network deployments. 5 GHz is clearly superior to 2.4 GHz. Wi-Fi 6 currently mainly uses 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, but there is talk about using 6 GHz, that is, Wi-Fi. Children's Day. Incorporating it into civilian Wi-Fi discussions, the 6 GHz band can provide more channels and greater bandwidth, so its introduction could significantly improve wireless network performance. But whether 6 GHz will be used for Wi-Fi 6, it is still in the discussion and planning stages, and whether it will become widespread in the future is not yet clear. And we also know wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency. The higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelength, and the poorer the signal's penetration ability. However, it has relatively strong anti-interference capabilities. In contrast, the 2.4 GHz frequency is relatively low, with a longer wavelength, so its signal has better penetration ability, capable of passing through walls and other obstacles, but it has lower bandwidth and is easily subject to interference. The 5 GHz signal, although it has higher bandwidth, it can provide faster data transmission speeds, but due to the higher frequency and shorter wavelength, its penetration is poorer. Moreover, the signal attenuates quickly, so in long-distance or obstructed situations, the strength of the 5 GHz signal will rapidly weaken. In practical use, the 2.4 GHz signal has a wider coverage range, so in situations where there is a greater distance, or obstacles like walls, the 2.4 GHz band signal will perform stronger and more stable. In contrast, the 5 GHz band, their signal coverage range is smaller, but it has a larger bandwidth, suitable for scenarios requiring high-speed transmission, such as high-definition video streaming or large data transfers. When deploying a Wi-Fi network, Wi-Fi devices can be set to prioritize 5 GHz access, meaning the 5 GHz band is used preferentially. If the 5 GHz signal is weak or unavailable, we then consider switching to the 2.4 GHz band, ensuring that devices can be used under better signal quality conditions. The 5 GHz band, and with higher bandwidth. The impact of signal strength. For example, when a phone or other device connects to Wi-Fi, the 2.4 GHz band with stronger signal strength might be prioritized by the device because the signal attenuates more slowly. Especially at greater distances, the device might consider the 2.4 GHz signal to be more stable. Next, let's take a look at the basic concepts. Radio frequency, antenna, and the relationship between them. Radio frequency is the electromagnetic wave frequency band that is wirelessly transmitted through an antenna. Specifically, radio frequency signals are transmitted through radio waves, referring to the radio frequency signals that transmit information within a certain range, used in WLAN for communication between wireless devices such as APs, routers, mobile phones, etc. The role of radio frequency is that it determines the transmission frequency band of wireless signals, which is what we commonly refer to as the frequency range, such as 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, etc. The RF module in the device is responsible for transmitting and receiving these electromagnetic waves. Simply put, radio frequency refers to the frequency range used for wireless signal transmission and the signal itself. The antenna, on the other hand, is the physical hardware for RF signals. Its function is to convert signals into electromagnetic waves and transmit them, or to convert received electromagnetic waves back into electrical signals. The design and number of antennas affect the quality and range of wireless signals. Antennas are not the RF itself, but they help in the transmission and reception of RF signals. Different devices and technologies use different types and numbers of antennas to optimize signal transmission. For example, using multiple antennas in WLAN can be utilized. MIMO technology, which stands for multiple input, multiple output, improves signal stability and bandwidth. As for the relationship between RF and antennas, RF determines the frequency range and basic properties of signal transmission, while antennas are the physical hardware that transmits or receives these signals. RF and antennas are closely related, but their functions are different. RF is the carrier of the signal, while antennas are the devices for transmitting and receiving signals. In the case of dual RF NAP, a device may have two RF modules, such as 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, with each RF module corresponding to a frequency band, and using one or more sets to, respectively, transmit and receive signals. For example, dual RF APE. They usually have two RF modules, corresponding to the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz frequency bands, respectively. Each RF module may be equipped with multiple antennas to optimize signal coverage and stability. For instance, an AP might have 4 antennas on the 2.4 GHz band, which help improve the quality and range of the signal. Each antenna is connected to the RF module, working together to perform the tasks of sending and receiving signals. So, what is the distinction between RF and frequency bands? RF is a broader concept that involves all frequency ranges of wireless signals. A frequency band is a part of RF and is a more specific parameter in wireless communication. That is, frequency refers to the frequency range in which the signal operates. For example, the 2.4 GHz band includes multiple channels within the 2.4 GHz range, such as channel 161, while the 5 GHz band has more channels. RF is the transmission method and carrier for these frequency band signals. That's all for today's session, students. If anyone is interested in Huawei's certification or question bank, or is more interested in Huawei's WLAN technology, you can leave a comment below my video. I will check them one by one and answer your questions.